Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the first time. Last time on Star Trek Children. Again, in Star Trek, I need it to end already. We did meet some new characters for the season, though.
Yes.
And we lost a character, which I'm very sad about, but not the kid. I'm talking about Crusher.
Talking about Crusher.
Just so we're on the same page here. But today we're watching an episode called Where Silence Has Lease.
Where silence has lease, like
yes,
like the kind, like somewhere you would live kind of lease.
I lease freedom.
Okay, all right.
I think is what we're talking about. I don't know. I mean, you know what? It's more detailed than most TNG titles.
That what is fair.
So I guess I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're gonna get into post-episode thoughts in a second. Be sure to join us then. We're about to watch Where Silence Has Lease. There's a point in this episode when we were feeling like really, really tired, and I think we both like without saying anything, we were just like, I don't know, just like, okay, sure, whatever. I was getting really sleepy, and then the space showed up, the face in space, as it were.
Yes,
and I think it literally scared us awake.
Absolutely. Yeah, this episode was reaching a point of near boredom. Yeah.
We are back to Star Trek Gods, though. Star Trek Gods in space faces, as it were, and my god, that is terrifying. I know there's no... I don't think there is like a sort of like updated effects thing like there is for TOS. I don't know what I'd prefer.
Right?
I don't know how you make that better.
I'm not convinced you can.
Yeah. This was better than The Child, I'll say that. It had some interesting ideas. I think the what is death scene would have hit way harder if it was actually Data.
Yeah, if it was actually Data.
But then also there was the fallacy that I immediately pointed out in the scene that I was like, no, Data knows what death is. It's a little weird for him to ask. But if but you were like, oh, he's asking on a philosophical level. But I'm like, no, Data wouldn't ask a philosophical question unless he explicitly stated that it was philosophical, I think.
That's fair.
So, I don't know. But again, it would have been a lot cooler if it actually was him. Most of the episode, though, is... We are lost in a hole.
Lost in a hole.
You know what? I was tricked into thinking this was going to be a Worf episode.
Yeah, we were.
Two major scenes, too. 3, really. The opening scene, which I really loved. I loved the idea of Worf taking Riker on one of his morning holodeck trips. Where he just gets himself ready for the day, ready to fight, whatever. There's the whole bit where he talks about the Klingon legend, which I thought that was going to be. I thought it was going to be that. I thought it was going to be the Klingon legend. With the black creature. Like, what? Like
a black creature in space that swallows up spaceships.
Yeah. And then there's the whole bit with him and Riker on the sister ship with the double bridge. And I was like, that's really cool. Great scene. And the episode was just not about him at all.
No. Beyond those scenes, he has a complete backseat of the story.
Yeah. I had taken that initial scene, the one in the holodeck, as something that I mentioned to you, that, and again, I may be ascribing a bit too much of a specific character arc to characters that are operating in a very episodic format, but I kind of take that when I see that, him just putting himself in really intense situations like that, as him taking his new job in Yar's place as really seriously, and to a point where, like, he doesn't want to end up like her. And again, maybe I'm reading too much into that.
But as I pointed out to you, this show's not above being episodic.
Or being less episodic.
Being less episodic, yeah.
I think that could be interesting. I could see them delving into that more. If not, I think it's kind of like my headcanon currently. I'm like, that's definitely it. But who knows? Dr. Pulaski was back in this one. She had a
lesser role, I'd say.
A much lesser role. But one really interesting scene with, again, her and Data, which I do think is kind of the show trying to replicate the Spock-McCoy thing.
That could be. I had that thought too last episode specifically.
Yeah, with, Doctor that is more human and does not see Data as, like, one of them,
There is some defining otherness that needs to be overcome.
Yeah. And so there's that little bit where she's like, oh yeah, well, what is it? If they insist that you are a living being, then that's how I will refer to you. That scene.
Yeah.
Which again, I found really interesting, and I think it could lead to much greater, more introspective scenes for those characters later on. But I guess we'll see. Carrying on the long-standing Star Trek tradition of talking about Romulans but never seeing them. We see one of their ships, but
do we though?
Do we though? I don't think it's actually a Romulan ship.
No, it's absolutely just a figment of everyone's imagination, so to speak.
Yeah. Which I think also would have been a great opportunity to have them back in, given again the end of season 1 with Neutral Zone. Like, I don't know, whatever. Or also, the possibility that I thought it was maybe the Romulans were also stuck in the black hole.
I honestly thought we were gonna do before. What's the thing's name?
What?
The space face.
Nagilum.
Before Nagilum, I thought it was gonna be like Space Bermuda Triangle.
That could be cool. I mean, it kind of was.
It kind of was. But it was like more like intelligible phenomenon. I thought we were going more for natural phenomenon.
When you walk into the Bermuda Triangle, a giant face appears in the sky, and it's a weird silvery CGI face. And, oh man. We do get TNG self-destruct sequence again, which is nice to see.
Yes.
Ooh, that's about it. That's all my notes.
well, we were falling asleep for half of the episode.
We were. It was a rough time. I mean, here's the thing. I would sooner watch this over The Child. Although, maybe not. The Child is more baffling.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'd sooner watch that, but it is a worse episode.
This episode, not as bad. But, as I said to you when we were dealing with the sister ship still, I was like, and before the whole space face, I was like, this is an episode with, it's a little dull, but at least it's got an idea. Like it's interesting kind of on that level.
Yeah.
But then, like, after the sister ship disappears because it was never real, I assume. That's the point where me and we were both like, okay, a little slow now.
A little slow. Yeah, definitely. Also, apparently, the episode ends with the possibility of Nagilum coming back. I don't know. I guess. Apparently.
If I'm honest, I don't really care.
Don't care. Really don't care at all. I also wonder would I have enjoyed this episode more if Whoopi Goldberg came back, and I'm not sure.
Like, I don't know.
I would like to see more of her.
I don't know if her presence would have elevated this episode any more than necessary.
I mean, I did say she was my favorite thing about last episode, so
that's fair.
Who knows? I guess we will find out. As we continue Star Trek The Next Generation, be sure to join us then, but sorry, I fucked up the outro. Let's try that again. Be sure to join us next time when we continue Star Trek The Next Generation. Until then, this has been Joey Morgan.
I'm Jacob.
Goodbye.